on. You ready?
Sir.
Stand the videos on.
Okay, yes. I want it on the record.
We ready? Here we go. Good evening. Welcome to the City of Hialeah Planning and Zoning Board meeting for Wednesday, September 21st, 2022. Everyone please rise for the invocation and the Pledge of Allegiance. Lord, please watch over us as we deal with these items in front of us tonight. Please give us the wisdom to make the right decisions for all those involved. Amen. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice. May be seated. Do we have anyone on Zoom today?
No.
Not yet? Okay.
Meeting guidelines. The following guidelines apply to today's Planning and Zoning Board meeting. Any person, whether participating via the web platform, telephonic conferencing, or physical presence at City Hall, interested in making comments or posing questions on any item on the agenda may do so during the meeting. Members of the public may hear the meeting live through telephonic conferencing using any telephone or cellular phone service. A smart device or computer are not necessary to participate in the meeting if you join by phone. All persons participating via the web platform will be muted during the meeting until called upon to be heard. Participation through Zoom requires a computer or smart mobile device with a microphone and web camera. The participant may elect to participate in the meeting using audio only or appear through both audio and video. The video function of all participants appearing through video will be turned off until called upon to be heard. All lobbyists must register with the Planning and Zoning Board prior to item being heard. A maximum of 4 speakers in favor and 4 speakers in opposition will be allowed to address the Planning and Zoning Board on any item. Each speaker's comments will be limited to 3 minutes. Item number 1, roll call. Mr. D. Perez?
Here?
Mr. Gamon?
Here.
Mr. Iglesias?
Here.
Mr. Jimenez?
Present.
Mr. Ulloa?
Here.
Mr. Casanova is absent. Mrs. Enriquez?
Here.
We have a quorum. Item number 2, approval of Planning and Zoning Board summary agenda of September 7th, 2022 as submitted.
We need a motion, please? Motion.
Motion, Mr. Ulloa, second, Mr. Iglesias. Mr. Gamon?
Yes.
Mr. Jimenez?
Yes.
Mr. Iglesias?
Yes.
Mrs. Enriquez?
Yes.
Mr. D. Perez?
Yes.
Mr. Ulloa?
Yes.
Item has been approved. Administration of oath to all applicants and anyone who will be speaking before the board on any item.
Everyone's going to be speaking in front of the board, please stand. And that includes those, whoever is in the electronic audience. Si van a prestar juramento, por favor pónganse de pie para. Okay.
You affirm to tell the truth before this board.
Jura que va a decir la verdad frente a esta. Thank you. All right, and again, we don't have anybody on Zoom, right?
No.
Okay, good.
A written decision and resolution will be prepared and presented for review to the City Council. The City Council is authorized to affirm with conditions, or override the decisions by resolution. After the resolution is adopted, contact a member of the City Clerk's office to obtain a copy of the final decision and resolution. Upon your receipt of the final decision and resolution, contact the Building Department to obtain your required building permit. Summary minutes or a copy of the audio files of the proceedings before the Planning and Zoning Board shall be prepared and submitted to the City Council before its hearing. The Planning and Zoning Board recommendations for the following public hearing requests will be heard by the City Council at a scheduled meeting of Tuesday, October 11th, 2022. Item number 3, rezoning properties from R1, one family district, to R33, multiple family district. Special use permit to allow the expansion of the neighborhood business district overlay, and variance permit to allow only residential uses where mixed use is required. Allow front setback of 3 feet fronting east 6th Avenue, 7.25 feet fronting east 26th Street, and 9.16 feet fronting east 27th Street, where 10 feet built to line are required. Allow 10 feet interior side setback where 15 feet are required. Allow 26.2% pervious area where 30% pervious area is minimum required. And allow 56 parking spaces where 63 parking spaces are required. Properties located at 585 East 26th Street, 591 East 26th Street, 595 East 26th Street, folio number 04-3108-001-2570, and 04-3108-001-2580, Hialeah Zoned R1, One Family District. Applicant, Manny Rose.
Name and address, please.
Manny Rose Architect, office is at 18501 Pines Boulevard, Suite 342, Pembroke Pines, Florida.
Thank you.
The properties in this application include 5 parcels from which the one is address highway to highway. Developed with a single family home building house, and the remaining 4 are vacant. The consolidated properties are located at the east end of the block located between Sixth Avenue and East Block. The properties in the process of having its land use amendment from major institutions and low density residential to medium density residential in relation to a redevelopment project. The proposed 28 multifamily development includes three two-story buildings with 24 two-bedroom units and 4 three-bedroom units. 2 of the buildings will provide a complete frontage along East 6th Avenue and wrap around the corners at West 26th Street and West 27th Street with surface parking, East 26th Street and East 27th Street, with surface parking at the rear. The third building will front the interior of the parking lot with its south side fronting East 26th Street, where the south end of the building has been designed with openings and architectural features to add articulation and complete the frontage along East 26th Street, flanking the parking entrance between the east and west buildings. Vehicular access will also be provided on West 27th Street. The height of the building at 2 stories is harmonious with the residential character of the west part of the block, where 2.5 stories is the maximum allowed height. The site is at a 16-minute walk from the Hialeah Tri-Rail Metro Rail transfer station and within walking distance of major employment centers along the 25th Street Medical Corridor. To be able to develop the property as proposed, the applicant is requesting rezoning from R1 to R33 and a special use permit to allow the expansion of the MBD overlay. The medium density land use would allow a maximum of 24 units, and although the MBD could allow up to 72 units, the applicant is proposing to build 28 units in order to keep the development at a scale compatible with the adjacent residential neighborhood. The following variances are also requested. Allow only residential uses where mixed use is required. Allow 3 feet front setback along East 6th Avenue, 7.25 feet front setback along West 26th Street, 9.16 feet along West 25th Street, 27th Street, where 10 feet built to line are required. Allow 26.2% pervious area where 30% is required, and allow 56 parking spaces where 63 parking spaces are required. The setback variance requests could be allowed since they are mostly for the encroachment of planters and balconies that will add character and articulation to the building. The pervious area request could also be approved since an engineered system will take care of drainage. As for the parking, the development includes 56 parking spaces, 2 parking spaces for each unit. Considering that the abundance of on-street parking in the area, together with the proximity to major employment centers and transit hubs, will suffice to satisfy the development's parking demand. The parking variance could be approved. The rezoning shall be approved since it will make land use and zoning consistent, and the special use permit to expand the MBD regulation to this site shall also be approved since this location is indeed within an activity node area and the required incentive points are provided. Furthermore, the proposed residential development will contribute to fulfilling the city's housing demand, provide housing close to employment and transit hubs, and bring renewal to a neighborhood built in the 1950s. Recommendation approved.
Thank you, Mrs. Torch. Manny?
Good evening. As Deborah explained, we're trying to do something unique in the area, low scale, and basically create great ambience for the neighborhood. We're going to end up with 24 two-bedroom units and 4 three-bedroom units at the corners of the building. And it will be fully landscaped. We have additional parking, which is not countable to our project, but street parking, we have 12 on 6th Avenue and a whole bunch, maybe 8 or 10 on 26th Street. So we're proud to do something different in the city of Hialeah as architects. We have a whole bunch of projects that have come through and will be coming through. We just want to make the city unique, and that's our main goal. And if anybody has any questions, please be more than glad to answer.
Thank you, Manny. Comments or questions from the board? Anyone in the audience have a comment or question on this item? Okay, I'm told there's nobody in the electronic audience, but is there anyone out there that have a comment or question? No? Close to the bar of the public hearing. What's the pleasure of the board?
Second.
Motion, Mr. Iglesias, second by Mr. Amon. Mr. Jimenez?
Yes.
Mr. Ulloa? Mr. D. Perez?
Yes.
Mrs. Enriquez?
Yes.
Mr. Iglesias?
Yes.
Mr. Amon?
Yes.
Item has been approved.
Thank you.
Thank you, Manny.
Nice. Okay, so
Oh, Manny's a big-time roller. He can. There you go.
item number 4 is actually going to be withdrawn. We need to re-advertise.
No action?
No action. So item number 4 has been withdrawn.
Do you want the item back or?
Yes, please.
Okay, let's pass the item, Doris.
Item number 5, conditional use permit to allow a kindergarten grade elementary school with a maximum capacity of 7 students in conjunction with 29 children daycare. Property located at 4305 East 8th Avenue, Base A and B. Hialeah Zone C2 Liberal Retail Commercial District. Applicant, the Creative Child Daycare and Learning Center.
Okay, and is the applicant present? Oh, there she is. Name and address, please. Nombre y dirección.
Marianela Batista Díaz, la dirección donde vivo, 5200 Southwest, la 106 Avenida, Miami, Florida, 33165.
Ok, una preguntita. ¿Entiende inglés o tenemos que traducírtelo?
Preferiría el español si no les molesta.
Ok, ella lo va a leer en inglés.
Ok, pero lo entiendo.
Después te lo vuelve a repetir en español y cualquier cosa la cambiamos de inglés a español. Ok, venga.
So the property in this application is a shopping center located at the northeast intersection of Lejeune Road and East 43rd Street. The property was developed in 1972 with a 5,805 square feet commercial building fronting Lejeune Road with surface parking lot at the front and another one at the rear, in compliance with commercial parking requirements. Around the year 2000, the 2,154 northernmost area of the building was converted into a daycare, and 3 parking spaces were removed at the rear parking lot to build a playground area. Since daycares require less parking than commercial uses, the site remained in compliance with parking requirements after the removal of 3 parking spaces. Since the daycare includes kindergarten and kindergarten is considered part of elementary school education, the applicant is requesting a conditional use permit to allow a 7-student kindergarten in conjunction with a 29 children daycare. The existing 27 parking spaces comply with the parking requirement for 3,411 square feet of commercial office use, 1,890 square feet of daycare, and 261 square feet of kindergarten. In addition, a 7-children kindergarten class would generate a car queue at peak and drop-off times of no more than 2 cars, which can perfectly be absorbed by the site's internal driveway. Given that the site can accommodate the proposed kindergarten class, the application shall be approved. Recommendation approval. Lo voy a traducir ahora. La propiedad en esta aplicación es un shopping center ubicado en la intersección noreste de Lejeune Road y la calle 43 del Este. La propiedad fue desarrollada en 1972 con un edificio comercial de 5.805 pies cuadrados con frente a Lejeune Road y con parking, con estacionamiento en la superficie en la parte del frente y en la parte posterior, en cumplimiento con los requerimientos de estacionamiento comercial. Cerca del año 2000, los 2.154 pies cuadrados en la parte que está más al norte del edificio fueron convertidos en un daycare y 3 parqueos fueron removidos en el parqueo de la parte posterior para construir un área de juego. Como los daycares requieren menos parqueo que los usos comerciales, el edificio en sí todavía quedó en cumplimiento de los requerimientos de parqueo después de haber removido 3 espacios. Como el daycare incluye kindergarten y kindergarten es considerado parte de la escuela elementary, el aplicante está solicitando un permiso condicional de uso para permitir un kindergarten de 7 estudiantes juntamente con un daycare de 29 niños. Los 27 parqueos existentes cumplen con los requerimientos de parqueo para 3.411 pies cuadrados de uso comercial y de oficina, 1.890 pies cuadrados de daycare y 261 pies cuadrados para el kindergarten. Además de esto, un kindergarten con 7 alumnos generaría una fila de autos en los momentos de dejar a los chicos y de buscar a los chicos de no más de 2 carros, lo que puede ser perfectamente absorbida por las vías interiores de la propiedad. Dado que el lugar que puede acomodar la clase de kindergarten propuesta, la aplicación es recomendada para ser aprobada.
Deborah, I must,
Sí.
I must make a comment.
Yes.
I love the way you say kids,
Mm,
los chicos.
chicos. Bueno, niños, sorry.
I love-
Niños.
It's unique.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
¿Entendió? ¿Tiene alguna pregunta? No comments or questions? Comments or questions from the board? Anyone in the audience have a comment or question? Anyone in the electronic audience, just to be,
Let me make a comment.
please do.
It's weird that they need to come to a whole hearing for a 7 children class. But all the problems that we have now is because in the past we said, okay, 7 kindergarten, 7 children. So when we give that approval that you can have kindergarten, they get a license that allows them to have kindergarten, then first grade, then second grade, and the day they have a full elementary and middle school. That's why then we created the conditional use permit. So in this way, they are coming here and they are capping the student population to a kindergarten with 7 students. That is the reason why they need to come.
You understood that?
Yeah.
Oh, good. Okay. Comments or questions from the board? All right, and I already hit the audience. Comment, questions from the audience? Electronic audience? What's the pleasure of the board?
Motion. Second.
Motion, Mr. Iglesias. Second, Mr. Jimenez. Mr. D. Perez,
Absolutely.
Mr. Amon,
Yes.
Mr. Iglesias,
Yes.
Mrs. Enriquez,
Yes.
Mr. Ulloa, Mr. Jimenez.
Yes, for the chicos.
Item
For
has
the
been-
Chicos.
Item
I
has
was
been
just going to
approved.
say that.
Item number 6, special use permit to allow the expansion of the neighborhood business district overlay for the development of a 58-unit multifamily mixed-use development. Variance permit to allow all residential units with areas ranging from 523 square feet to 728 square feet, where 850 square feet is the minimum required and only 10% of the units may have an area of 600 square feet. Allow 5.5 feet front setback for staircase where 10 feet built to line are required. Allow 18% pervious area where 30% is the minimum required. And parking variance to allow 160 parking spaces where 266 are required. Property located at 8155 West 12th Avenue, Hialeah Zone C1, Restricted Retail Commercial District. Applicant, Hugo Arza.
Good evening, Hugo Arzel, offices at 701 Brickell Avenue, and I had the took the liberty to let them know that unless they needed to speak, and they didn't, that they didn't need to wait. They thought they had to stay till the end of the meeting. I figured I
Thank
would
you.
spare them. Um, Deborah, are you reading? I mean, I know the recommendation is
Well,
changed
If
for the
you-
better.
It's
so-
table, so we need to remove from the table
Okay,
first.
First
course.
remove from the
Let's
table.
remove from the table. Can we get a,
Second.
Motion, Mr. Iglesias. Second, Mrs. Enriquez. Mr. De Perez?
Yes.
Mr. Amon?
Yes.
Mr. Iglesias?
Yes.
Mrs. Enriquez?
Yes.
Mr. Ulloa? Mr. Jimenez?
Yes.
Item has been removed from
okay,
table.
Deborah, go ahead and do what,
If you want, there are two options. I can read the report that I read last time, or if you remember something, I can recap what I said last time, and then I added the part because we received additional information. So whatever you prefer.
yeah, go with go with the amendment.
So remember what happened. This is a lot that is, how many acres? It's 2.61 acres. Now it's mostly vacant. It has a building that used to be a daycare slash a school. So they are redeveloping it into a mixed-use project that has deficiency in parking. And also the circumstance that we encounter is that there is a moratorium, a temporary moratorium in the pump station that serves the place. So last time I said that I was not comfortable in recommending approval because there were certain things about the traffic and the lack of parking. So what happened after that meeting is that we got together with the streets department. So the streets department, they looked at the plan and they recommended some improvements on West 12th Avenue to improve the safety conditions. We asked for a police report. There are not too many accidents. There are mostly accidents on West 12 and 84. On 82nd, in 5 years, there were only 2 accidents. Then there are minor accidents inside parking lots. But since they are adding some density there, well, we are taking the safety precautions to make this better. So what I wrote now is to evaluate the right-of-way conditions, a traffic accident report was obtained from the police department. The report indicated accident occurrences at the intersection of West 82nd Street and West 12th Avenue. The proposal was reviewed by the streets department that recommended improvements to be constructed at the West 12th Avenue median with the purpose of improving safety at the West 82nd Avenue intersection. A shared parking study prepared by the Bala Group traffic engineering consultant was submitted by the applicant. The analysis is based on hourly parking demand rates for the different proposed land uses and estimates the peak parking demand on weekdays to be 160 parking spaces between the hours of 6 p.m. and 7 p.m., decreasing throughout the day. On weekends, the peak parking demand is 162 parking spaces between the hours of 1 p.m. and 2 p.m., decreasing throughout the day. Since the development will provide 166 parking spaces, the analysis concludes that the parking demand is expected to be met. As for the pump station temporary moratorium, the applicant will need to resolve the issue with the Public Works Department, whose approval is required prior to the submittal of building permit plans. And I included a copy of the little sketch that the streets department prepared with improvements that they need to do. And these analyses here that I already summarized, these are the tables they are referring to. So in these tables, what you have is the different land uses. And the Urban Land Institute created a manual where they did different studies, and they have like a percentage of utilization for the different uses along the different times of the day. So this is what you see in these different columns. And what is highlighted is like the peak hour where the most demand is present. So at those times where the most demand is present, the requirement is 160 parking spaces, and they are providing 166 parking spaces.
So generous.
Yeah.
Worked out. Giselis, it doesn't, I mean, unless we just want to see, I know we have a PowerPoint presentation. I will be equally brief. So, because I made the longer presentation at the 2 weeks ago. And really, we added our last slide says additional considerations. I mean, you can move through, you're familiar with the property. We discussed this, 2.6 acres on the east side of 12th Avenue, just next to the high school. And if we, you can scroll through these Iselis if you want. I mean, they're just a bigger aerial, current use, and Deborah mentioned that it's, just like one building on the property. The current land use, the land use will be changed at second reading next week. So this board already approved that for recommendation. It's already been the first reading, so we'll change it next week. Next application request we've gone through. Obviously, the last one there, D, I'll just speak to in a second, and then you can project highlights. It's a project by the Prestige Group. Obviously, prolific developers in your city and folks that have done a lot of projects around town. Next. That's the corridor, just to give you a flavor of the avenue, although I know all of you are familiar. And then this slide. And so really the only one that I didn't include here to touch upon, I told you the last time we would provide a study, and I thank Deborah. She worked closely. We hired a traffic engineer, prepared the study she referenced by the Vala Group, utilized the data that's collected, nationwide across hundreds, thousands of projects to really determine demand and what the peak hours are and all of that. I know he had a conversation with Deborah. They went through it. Obviously, Deborah was satisfied with the report, is recommending approval, and I want to thank her for that. We were, Director Sanchez asked for some improvements on 12th Avenue, which we're happy to do. We agreed to them right away. I did mention the last time, and it will still need to happen. We are platting the property. So there may be that there are additional improvements that the county wants, but we've certainly committed to the ones that the city wants, and then we'll tackle the county when we get there shortly. And I didn't include the moratorium only because I think this body is fairly sophisticated. You guys know that those things, it's temporary, and by the time that we go to build something, a lot of water will have flown, hopefully in the right place and to the right pump station. But we're aware of the condition. We understand this is zoning, they're not giving us a water and sewer permit. Director Vidal will make sure that we get it when it's appropriate, but we accept that as another condition. And so we would just respectfully ask for your approval this evening, and add just the conditions that really just, I guess, one condition technically. I mean, we've already proffered the study. We did that already, but we commit to making the improvements on West 12th Avenue that the city streets department has requested. And certainly if you wanted an acknowledgement that we understand the water and sewer issue, I'm happy to give that acknowledgement. But I think that there's nothing for us to do or a condition. We know we have to meet that. So that's it. Maybe we can get out of here for an American time dinner tonight.
Well, I have another comment.
Oh.
Because many people approach me and spoke me about the type of projects that your developer does, and they all criticize the lack of landscaping.
Okay.
So what I'm seeing here in the
Many
landscaping-
people.
in many,
I'm gonna have to ask you off the record to tell me some of
well,
these.
Several people. What I see here in the rendering is that there I only see 6-7 palms, and here in the plants I see the ligustrum tree that is not a tree. We asked for a single trunk tree.
Okay.
There you have the representation of live oak, but there are no live oaks in the drawing. So for the records, we would like canopy trees here in the green areas, and we would like specifically for them to be live oaks or similar with single trunk and no the ligustrum.
No problem. I mean, as you guys, again, something you don't need me to tell you, but there is a subsequent, you're approving a site plan for purposes of the zoning request, but there is an extensive site plan and concurrency process with, a stack of, plans that thick that has to be brought forward. We would gladly accept the condition that, I also know that the city's landscaping requirements are changing. We've got new landscape architect on board. So again, if the condition is that we comply with, the additional requests that Deborah has made, we're happy to make it, or simply that we comply with whatever the city's code is at that time. I mean, again, we have to do that. We're happy to do it.
Yeah, carry the message, because I know that these developers are very quick. Tomorrow, maybe they bring the plan to the building department. So
I don't think they're quite
Okay.
ready to drop off plans tomorrow. I'll deliver the message.
So before they start that, let them know that they need to change it.
I'll have them. What I'm going to have them do, honestly, is have them, whoever's the right person to identify that, come sit with the two of you.
Okay,
Because
okay.
I mean, I don't think they've met yet. Your newest team member.
They
And so that way-
they met and he knows because
Okay.
for another project. we
Okay,
already
well, great,
talked
but I'll have
about-
them do it again. and
Okay,
That's
okay.
probably the easiest thing.
Perfect, okay, okay.
I don't know, I don't know a live oak from a ficus tree. I mean,
It's a
I-
tree.
Don't ask me to deliver that. I'll just tell them to call.
Well, I will take you for a walk on a summer day under oak trees, under palm trees, and under the ligustrums, and you will know that.
And I'll know. I'll feel the difference.
Yeah, yeah.
A tree is a tree.
Maybe,
I've
maybe
been-
I'm not quite that bad, but I'm not a landscape. Architect.
Listen, I've been accused of being a tree hugger, which I am not, especially for those pine trees on 32nd Street. We're not going to go there. But yeah, the landscaping is important, so.
So all these comments will be incorporated into the DOR that the law
Okay.
department and together with you will prepare.
I see him over there. He's jotting down little
Yeah,
notes and
David,
stuff. so-
David may need another pen
Yeah, David's.
by the time this is
oh,
over.
Here,
he's-
look,
You're in for
I
a
said I
nap.
wanted to go home for dinner at an early hour. Let's
Then-
not give him too much to write.
Yeah.
We're happy to comply.
Thank you, Hugo. Any comments or questions from the board? Anyone in the audience have a comment or question? Again, anyone in the electronic audience? Closes the part of the public hearing. What's the pleasure of the board?
Motion to approve, subject to
With
conditions.
conditions, yeah.
Right.
Second that.
Motion, Mr. Jimenez, second, Mr. Ulloa. Mr. D. Perez,
Yes.
Mr. Gamon,
Yes.
Mr. Iglesias,
Yes.
Mrs. Enriquez,
Yes.
Mr. Jimenez,
Yes.
Mr. Ulloa.
Yes.
Item has been approved with conditions.
Thank you all. Have a good evening. I almost want to stay to see the plat of Snake Sun.
do you
By all
know?
means.
No, that's just a great name.
By all means, there's plenty of seats behind
No,
you.
but I just, that's
Do
just.
do you know who is Snake
I
Sun?
do not know who.
Another day. I
You'll tell me, but that is an incredibly good name for a plat. Snake Sun.
All right.
And miscellaneous items not requiring advertising. Item number 7, final plat of Snake Sun.
Baby snake?
So all the departments, none of the departments have objections. This is undeveloped land in the annexation area north of 142nd Street. The street is developed. They already came for land for a special use permit for a gas station. I don't know what they're doing with the rest, but the subdivision is something they need to do before any development. So the recommendation is approved.
So, but we don't know what we're putting in there yet?
No, it's MH. They had plans like a special use permit approved for a gas station, which would be good there. But this is a very, very narrow strip of land, so there's not much they can do. Then I don't know what they're going to do yet.
I'm familiar with the area, but what's the address again?
142nd Street is that street that when you're on 97th Avenue, before 138, if you want to turn and go to the west, that is the street, the new street. It's
Okay.
not new, but it's the new
Yeah.
street.
A little bit further down, when you pass the school, a few blocks down.
Yes,
Let's
Yes.
take it like-
to the west.
That's where the.
Where the shopping center
Where the
is
shop-
like.
when you pass the shopping center,
like
right
the
there.
back of the shopping center.
Okay, yeah,
Yes.
it's hard to,
Yeah, yeah.
Because
It's
it-
across these properties across the street from what will be the shopping.
okay.
Any more comments or questions? Anyone in the audience? Anyone in the electronic audience? What's the pleasure of the board?
Motion to approve.
Second that motion?
Motion, Mrs. Enriquez, second, Mr. Iglesias. Mr. Gamon,
Yes.
Mr. Iglesias,
Yes.
Mrs. Enriquez,
Yes.
Mr. Jimenez,
Yes.
Mr. Ulloa,
Yes.
Mr. D. Perez.
Yes.
Item has been approved. Item number 8, old business. No old business. Item number 9, new business.
Air conditioner.
Yeah.
I think we're gonna nominate you in charge of the air conditioning thermostat.
Temperature guy, yeah.
Yeah.
I have new business.
What?
I have new business.
Hey.
I'm going to be an abuelo.
Hey, all right.
First time abuelo.
Welcome to the
That's
club.
awesome.
Congratulations.
It's gonna be fun.
Congratulations, David. All right, any more new business? All right, let's close that with a positive congratulations. Meeting's adjourned.